I started back in 2019 and I've personally made millions of dollars with Amazon FBA. And I've helped over 20 students build profitable Amazon stores from scratch, as shown here. The truth is, building a profitable Amazon business isn't as complicated as most people think. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to start a profitable Amazon store that could generate $10,000 per month in just 90 days without creating your own products, spending thousands on inventory up front, or dealing with overseas suppliers. I'm gonna be honest with you, a minimum of $1,000 to spend in product is recommended to start. You could technically start with less, but you'll be limiting yourself, and this process will be a lot less effective. So if you don't have any upfront capital to invest right now, save up and come back to this video when you're ready. And here's the thing, while I'm gonna give you the blueprint in this video, building a successful Amazon business does involve a learning curve. Many of my students who saw the fastest results, reaching $5,000 to $10,000 in monthly profit within 90 days, and sometimes even more, did so because they had expert guidance, which is why I've created a hands-on program where I personally help serious entrepreneurs build profitable Amazon businesses from the ground up. We create a customized plan based on your specific goals, timeline, and starting capital to help you avoid costly mistakes and scale as quickly as humanly possible. Because of the personalized attention that each student receives, I can only accept 10 new students each month. If you're serious and want my direct help to speedrun your success, click the first link in the description to apply, and we'll see if you're a good fit. Let's break down exactly how to launch your Amazon store step by step with the right foundation. The first step is setting up your business the right way. There's two routes you can take. You can get an LLC and an EIN just so that you're already set up in the correct company structure and you can reap the rewards of having a company. Amazon does also allow you to register as an individual, so starting without an LLC also is an option. But I'm gonna give you both options so that you can decide what's better for you. After you've decided whether you want to take an LLC or not, then the next thing is going to be opening your Amazon seller account. How to do that is you just want to go to AmazonSellerCentral.com and you just want to make sure you haven't signed up before for an Amazon Seller Central account, because if they do link other accounts that you could have in the past, you could get banned, and this is just an easy way to avoid any beginner mistakes. Aside from that, you want to have the correct paperwork. So in this case, it's going to be your ID, a bank statement, and possibly a utility bill, and Amazon just uses this to verify your identity. Having all these things in order builds long-term trust with Amazon and suppliers that could ask you for the same information in the future. So once you're set up, this next step is going to be ungating these items. Most categories on Amazon are locked when you first start. All ungating means is getting approval to sell certain brands like Clorox or Dove or Sony, let's say, on Amazon. To list these specific brands, Amazon requires a approval, and once you are approved, you're going to be able to sell these name brands on Amazon. That's all ungating means. So smart categories to pick when you're getting ungating could be grocery or topical, just because these are easily accessible to you and they're low cost, low barrier to entry, right? You can literally get some Sour Patches maybe that are sold at your local grocery store or online on Target or Frontier, any of these websites. They're going to allow you to purchase these items with a low MOQ, which is key if you're a beginner, so that you could just get that invoice, and with that invoice, that's what you're going to submit to Amazon. Amazon is most likely looking for 10 units per the brand that you're doing, or more in other cases, but ideally if you're starting, stick to the 10 unit ones so that you could get approved and start moving. And automated ungating tools are risky because you have really no quality control on what's happening, and most of the times you're honestly getting overcharged for something you could just do yourself, and that's what I just explained. Just getting a legitimate invoice from a real distributor that carries the brand you want to get ungated in, that should be good for moving forward with Amazon. And typically to get ungating, it takes about like 3 to 5 days. Sometimes it's faster. I've seen 24 to 48 hours, but these are just the rough time frames to get ungated. Once you're ungated, now comes the fun part. Step 3 is finding your first profitable product. To do this, you will use research tools like AZ Insight and Keepa. AZ Insight is almost like having a cheat code for Amazon. What it does is that it shows you everything about a product. So how much sales it's getting per month, how much money it's making per month, even super specific details like the weight of the item while it's being shipped. These are all key data points so that you know what is going to be good to buy and what makes sense. Aside from this, you have Keepa, which I like think of it as like the stock market for Amazon, because the prices on Amazon are always moving. So this basically gives you the history of what the buy box price has been on an item. So it literally tells you what the price is today and what the price was a year ago, so that you can know, hey, if a month passes by, am I still going to be profitable on this item? How you want to read these product listings that I'm talking about is you want to look at key metrics. So BSR, all it means is the best sellers ranking. So how fast an item is moving on Amazon. Amazon ranks it based on the velocity. Offer count is simple. How many people are selling that item? Variations just mean flavors or multi-packs of an item. So if there's a 3-pack, it shows you, hey, this item has a 3-pack, or it's chocolate fiddler or raspberry, etc. So variations are basically things under that listing where if you move your mouse on it, it shows you the different count or flavor in that case. As you can see, there's so much data that goes into it, and that's why I fell in love with the business model, because you could understand everything about an item, how much it's selling, how much you're going to be making before you buy it, so that you can make educated decisions on how much you're going to make in your business. Product research isn't just about margin. It's about all those other data points I just described, the velocity, because you want to know an item is moving before you buy it so that you're not just stuck with it, right? When you're starting off, I always recommend to order a low amount on purpose and then start scaling what's winning. So you could get like maybe 10, 15 units of an item. Most people think you need to start selling products from overseas. This is not true. I recommend starting with online arbitrage. What online arbitrage is buying discounted items from online retailers and selling them for higher on Amazon. This could be places like Target, Frontier, Heb.com. These are all examples of websites where you could find name brand items and sell them for a premium on Amazon and collect some profit. Some tools that speed up the process of doing online arbitrage could be one called tactical arbitrage. This will show you places where you could find these retailers that have these discounts and maybe promotions going on, where you could get some items for cheaper and sell them for higher on Amazon. There always is going to be a gap that allows for arbitrage to happen. Another method, if you don't want to use a software, is just reverse sourcing. What reverse sourcing is that you could go on Amazon and basically look at your competitors and literally see all the items they have, and you'll be able to replicate what's working for them and eventually backtrace where they even bought their items from, and they're selling them for higher on Amazon. So it's almost like you're literally spying on your competitors, seeing what's working and improving it. And my setup for when I was doing online arbitrage in the beginning was I would literally just order to a prep center. What a prep center does is that they repackage it, right? Because who wants to receive an Amazon order in a Walmart box? But so many beginners make that mistake, and what happens? Their store gets shut down. So what the prep center does is that they get rid of the Walmart box, they put it in a plain box, and they send it to Amazon in the details that Amazon wants to receive the packaging, and your customer receives their item that they're waiting for. So everything goes smoothly. Once you understand Amazon and you've got some momentum going, the next level is moving into wholesale. Wholesale is where you stop hustling and you start scaling. Now, if I were starting off in wholesale, what I would do is I would make a supplier lead sheet. This is just a spreadsheet where I like to stay organized, and I organize when I called the supplier, what date it was, the time, the email that I received from them, and the name of the person, so that when I'm following up, I have this data to back up when I'm calling them, so that everything is just in one place and I could focus on making progress on certain suppliers and leads. When I was starting off, I was literally calling 50 to 100 suppliers per day, hustling them phones, because I knew I was just one account away from setting up my store to even greater levels. Another thing you could do is that you could go on Amazon and you could reverse search brands. So if I see a brand is working well on Amazon Movers and Shakers, let's say for example, Amazon Movers and Shakers show the 500 most trending items within the month on Amazon. Typically there you're gonna find a good brand to source, and you could go by the category. So there I find the name of the brand that I want to look deeper into, and now I have something to build off of. When I search that brand in Google, I'm gonna be able to find their details and see how I could contact them and see if I could get this brand for cheaper, so that I can now sell it on Amazon. That's how you brand search, and you leverage the data that Amazon gives you so that you can see if it's a product you want to sell. Another method to finding suppliers is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very powerful because a lot of the top distributors and brands like to be on LinkedIn. So you're gonna be setting up your profile on there and reaching out to one distributor or brand that you like. The way LinkedIn's algorithm works is that it's gonna start recommending you things that look the same as the thing that you searched. So therefore, you're gonna literally build up a list of a bunch of good brands and suppliers that you could potentially work with. Another method for spotting these brands is, at the end of the day, with doing this whole business, your relationship building, right? You want to establish yourself and really build a connection with those owners of the brands or maybe sales members of those brands, because that will go a long way. They will give you better terms. They'll update you on new product lines. So there's no limit to what you could form with a relationship. And that's one thing you truly want to cherish when you're doing these brands. And what's the best way to build a relationship? In person. I don't care how much times you email someone. It's not the same as meeting them in person. So you could go to what's called a trade show and you'll be able to find multiple brands that carry Amazon products, and you can start building your relationships and moving that needle forward. So let's say now you got some inventory locked in. You need to know how to list and ship your products the right way. Even the best product won't sell if your listing sucks. So the areas you want to look at when you're looking at a listing that you potentially want to sell is the BSR is low. There are at least one to more sellers on there, so you know you could also sell on it. If there is only one seller on it and there's a brand selling it, for example, then that means you need to reach out to the brand directly so that you can get exclusivity and be allowed to sell that brand if it is something that looks good. That means if the criteria with the profit is good, the BSR, and the monthly sales, because you don't want to be stuck looking at the wrong items. So let's say all that checks out. Now you need to ship this item. Amazon's shipping system is pretty simple. All you want to do is box it all up and label it the correct way. If you don't want to learn all the details of the ins and outs of shipping something, you could just ship it to a prep center and they will do the heavy lifting for you. They might charge you $1 a unit or however the rate is that you negotiate with them for sending these products out to Amazon, and that allows you to focus on sourcing and having leverage on your business, not worrying about the warehousing and letting them do all that. Aside from sending them to Amazon and having the warehousing part set up, you also want to make sure you know if you're selling under FBA or FBM. All FBA means is fulfilled by Amazon. Those are your Amazon Prime listings, the stuff that arrives to your house in 2 days. FBM means fulfilled by merchant. What that means is I am literally shipping it directly to the customer. I'm not sending all my inventory to Amazon for them to send it out as someone orders. Instead, I'm shipping it per order. So in that case, you need to understand how much you're paying for shipping, because that's something that's not accounted for in your costs. You need to manually add that in your costs so that you know if you're profitable after shipping. Once you're making sales, you need to make sure your prices stay competitively automatically. This is where repricing comes into play. What repricing does is that it uses the power of AI and Amazon's data and basically changes the price as it's happening in real time. So let's say I'm selling something for $19. If while I'm asleep, the price changes to $18.50, my listing is still going to be selling at $19. But if I have a repricer on, my listing will automatically change to $18.50, matching the current buy box price. The reason this is key is because this is what's going to allow you to make sales on the platform even while you're sleeping, and it doesn't interfere with the volume you're doing. Tools that do this pretty well are BQL or Repricing. A lot of these tools have rules that you could set which allow you to have a pricing floor. You don't want to make nothing under $3 profit under a listing. You could set that rule and your tool will only price within those rules you set. And it also allows you to win your buy box percentage more, aka you're gonna make more sales, because if you're winning the buy box, that is how you make sales on Amazon. Smart repricing helped one of my students who was making low amount of sales literally make their first $1,000 in a week. So literally 3x, because he was making about 40 bucks before that. I taught him this one thing and now he's reaping the rewards. There you have it. My complete step-by-step system for building a profitable $10,000 a month Amazon store in just 90 days. As you can see, this is a pretty straightforward business model that anybody can implement with the right guidance. While I have given you the blueprint in this video, building a successful Amazon business does require a learning curve, which is why I've created a hands-on program where I personally help serious entrepreneurs build profitable Amazon stores from the ground up. We'll create a customized plan based on your specific goals, timeline, and starting capital to help you scale as quickly as possible. And you'll have one-on-one access to me, not just for accountability, but to ask any questions you have and get real answers from someone who's already done it. I'll be coaching you through every roadblock so you never feel stuck or waste time on the wrong things that actually don't grow your business. So if you're serious and you want my help speedrunning your success, click the first link in the description, apply and see if you're a good fit. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.